You can all have a seat. I promise not to talk for that long. But I'm a rabbi, so you never know. We find ourselves this evening right in the middle of the month of Elul, the final month in the Hebrew calendar, the month immediately preceding Tishrei, the month immediately preceding Rosh Hashanah. We are right here in the month of Elul, and the mystics believed, as Rabbi Goldstein taught last week, that if you take that word Elul and you split it up and you see it as an acronym, you get this famous phrase, Ani ledodi v'dodi li. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. This phrase comes from a book called Shir HaShirim, or Song of Songs. It's a book of love poetry, basically. It's a book of love poetry. And the ancient rabbis didn't love this book so much. They were a little uncomfortable with its content. They saw this book entirely comprised of love poetry, and they said, this can't possibly be an entire book of Holy Scripture between two people. Where is God? And so they interpreted and reinterpreted and said, aha, the love between the two people that's so often described in this book, Shir HaShirim, must be a metaphor. It must be actually God's love for us and our love for God. And this is the interpretation that the ancient rabbis ascribed to this book. Now, I love the ancient rabbis. I think they do a lot of things correct. But I think they got this one wrong. I fully think they got this one wrong because there is such power and spirituality and holiness in love between two people. Now, this book, Shir HaShirim, is mostly talking about romantic love between two people, and there is absolutely spirituality and holiness and the divine in romantic love between two people, but even just limiting it to romantic love is just that. It is too limiting. Because love is more expansive than many of us even realize. And the holiness in that expansive love is unbelievably powerful. And in fact, that expansiveness of love is something that I am just learning about for the first time in these last 4 months. 4 months ago, my wife Jenna and I welcomed our son Elijah into the world. And all of a sudden, I realized I didn't know what love meant. In becoming a father, in learning how to be a father, in learning how to begin to raise my son, I have learned both how to love and how to feel love in ways that I couldn't possibly imagine 5 months ago. I'll give you one example. I always knew that I would love my son whenever he was born and whatever our relationship would be. But, and parents, you will probably understand this. If you don't have children of your own, trust me. There is a way that you look at a child with pride and admiration that is just different. I have spent, now it's been 21 weeks, but I've spent these last 21 weeks watching my son learn how to be a human being in this world, and I am blown away. When he rolls over, I think he's the smartest person in the entire world. He's not rolling back yet, but we'll get there. But I didn't actually realize how expansive my definition of love had become. I said often to him in the beginning of his life while I was still on leave, and Cantor Man likes to remind me of this, but it is so true. I had this unique feeling. I thought I knew what love was, but I said to Elijah, there are 8 billion people in the world, and you're my favorite one. And that is true. And it remains true to this day. It is an unbelievable, for me, sense of expansiveness of what I thought my own ability to love was. And it is also true that our ability to feel love and be loved is more expansive than we might think. I'm very grateful to Temple Israel that I was given parental leave, but when I came back from parental leave, it was quite hard for me. I had spent 99% of this child's life with him in direct proximity, and I wasn't quite sure what our relationship was going to be in this new stage of our relationship. All of a sudden, I was going to be gone for significant moments of time, which, when you're that little, is quite a big percentage of someone's life. The very first day, I came to work. I got home around 4:45, and Elijah and Jenna were out, expected to be home at around 5. And I paced and paced and paced in my apartment. And when they got home, I took Elijah out of the stroller, and I looked at him, and he looked at me, and after just a brief pause, he smiled. And I melted. I thought I knew what it meant to feel love until that moment on July 6th when he smiled at me, and all of a sudden I realized that my capacity to feel love was far beyond what I had ever thought. I happen to be in this role of a new father, but each of us have people in our lives who make us feel loved and whom we love. And so as we come back to this idea of Elul, there's a job that each one of us has during this month. It's the job of cheshbon hanefesh, an accounting of our souls. Our job in this month leading up to Rosh Hashanah is to think about who we are as human beings and who we want to be in the year to come. With whom we need to reconcile, what parts of ourselves we want to adjust just a little bit so that we can be better versions of ourselves. We can return to the truest version of ourselves in this new year, 5787. And so I think one of the lessons from this idea of Elul being connected to love, being connected to a love that transcends just romantic love, is a reminder to each of us of what that word means and can mean for each one of us. Even, and maybe even especially, in a world that feels sometimes too dark, sometimes full of evil, sometimes full of hate, we have the power of love. We have the power to love and to be loved. And may we each remember that the capacity to love may well be limitless. Keni Hiratzon, may it be so.